Hello fellow coffee botherers, in this video I'm going to be comparing the Sunbeam Breville Signature with the Sage Breville Barista Express. If you saw my video on the Signature, which will pop up here at the end of this video, in case you didn't, I explained that Sunbeam Breville has nothing to do with Sage Breville. The Breville brand in the UK is owned by Newell Brands, who also own Sunbeam and Mr Coffee. The Breville Signature is the same machine as a Sunbeam Origins sold in Australia. The Sage Appliances machines in Europe are the machines made by Breville worldwide. So the machine sold as a Breville Barista Express in the States and Australia is a Sage Barista Express in Europe. So I'll refer to the UK Breville in this video as Sunbeam Breville, and I'll refer to Breville worldwide or Sage as Sage Breville. So with that out of the way, the Barista Express has been one of the best-selling machines in the world for the past 10 years or so, certainly when it comes to integrated grinder Portafilter espresso machines. So how does a new UK Breville Signature sold in Australia as Sunbeam Origins compare? Let's find out. We'll put the dimensions of both on the screen. We'll also put all the specs for both machines on the screen and leave them there for a while so you can study them if you like. As you're looking through them, you'll see that on paper the Signature looks more impressive than the Express in terms of the number of features. And the Signature also looks very appealing cost-wise, at present reduced from $699 to $499 at Currys, although at the time of filming the Barista Express is also reduced on the Sage Appliances website. In fact, you can get it at the moment for around £470, see the pinned comment. But as you'll note if you watched my review, in my opinion it's not quite all as it seems with the Signature, so you can take some of these features with a rather large pinch of white isometric crystals of sodium chloride. So what I want to do with this review is get beyond the blurb of both machines and tell you from using them how I think they compare. Let's compare the most obvious difference first, single thermoblock versus dual thermoblock. I'll now make a cappuccino on both and we'll put a timer on the screen so you can see what they like to use and how long it takes. As you'll see, once you're dialed in, and we'll talk more about that shortly, because you can steam the milk while the shot is pulling, you do get your cappuccino or latte faster with the Signature. This, for me, is the only real benefit of the Signature over the Barista Express. In terms of convenience, this works like a dual boiler or heat exchanger, in that you can do the two at once for faster workflow. So if that's all you're really bothered about, I'd have to say that the Signature might be more suited to you. But I'd recommend watching the rest of this video, as you might decide by the end of it that this isn't actually all you're bothered about. And if that's the case, a Barista Express might be the better option. Portafilter sizes. The Signature is 58mm, Barista Express is 54mm. You may expect me to say that this is a win for the Signature because many people appear to assume that 58mm is better because a lot of, not all, commercial machines have 58mm portafilters. The thing to keep in mind is that a commercial machine will be paired up with a high quality grinder and hopefully the barista will have decent puck prep skills. The reason a lot of home machines have smaller, deeper portafilters, from what I can gather, is that a deeper, slimmer puck is more forgiving than a wider, more shallow puck. I actually think the choice here of a 58mm portafilter is more for marketing purposes. I don't think it actually gives any benefit to the user at all. Baskets. The Barista Express comes with dual-walled pressurised baskets and single-walled traditional baskets. The Signature only comes with single-walled traditional baskets. For me, Sage Breville are doing the right thing by including both kinds of baskets. If your coffee beans have a roasted on date, then you really need traditional baskets and you need to dial in, meaning to tweak the grind and other variables to get a well-balanced shot. If you're using normal bags of coffee beans from the supermarket with no roasted on date, just a sell-by date, you may as well make things easy for yourself and use dual-walled baskets. Using single-walled baskets is unlikely to be of any benefit with this kind of coffee. So again, I feel like the choice of baskets here is a marketing decision more than anything. I think providing both types of baskets with a machine like this makes a lot of sense. Grinding quality. If you think a grinder is just a grinder and then what burrs these grinders have makes little or no difference, that in my opinion is very much incorrect. The quality of the grind makes a big impact on the quality of the coffee. Whether or not you'll be able to tell the difference between a better quality grinder and a poorer quality grinder will depend on the beans you're using, how well you're dialed in and your palate, but there is a difference between these two grinders. I've started doing something called groove sifting when comparing grinders. Well, okay, my daughter has kindly started doing that for me because I can't be bothered. We've done this as scientifically as possible, not just sifting by hand, but putting the groove on a vibration plate on the same program for the same time, each sift size with each grinder. I'll put the charts on the screen, and as you'll see, the burrs on the Barista Express have produced a more focused particle distribution. Look at this graph. On the Signature, you'll see there's a big spread of particle sizes over 700 microns, while with the Barista Express it's far more concentrated. Different particle sizes extract differently, so a particle distribution like this with a higher percentage of the particles within a smaller size range is more conducive to great tasting espresso, especially when you're buying freshly roasted high quality beans and working on dialing in. Grind adjustment. In theory, the Signature has 30 grind settings versus 19 on the Express. In practice, in terms of changing the grind size number on the LCD screen, I can only count 24 distinct grind settings, and the numbers jump randomly by 2 to 3 grind settings. And, as we've established, the burrs in the Barista Express appear to produce a more concentrated particle size, so I don't actually feel that the number of grind settings on the Signature is all that relevant. Hot water. Let's compare both the hot water temperature and the speed of dispensing 200 ml of hot water through the hot water spouts. Steam wands. The main difference between these machines where steam wands are concerned is that with the Signature you can steam while the shot is pulling. Other than that, the wands are really not much different. They've made the Signature wand look like a cool touch wand. It's thicker, but let's compare the outer temperature of both and see if one is much cooler to touch than the other. Now let's compare the speed of steaming 200 ml of milk to 65 degrees Celsius with both. Pressure gauge. The Barista Express has a pressure gauge, as you can see. The Signature doesn't. To be honest, I'm not really that bothered. They're handy, but they don't really tell you anything that the shot time doesn't tell you, and I'd prefer a shot timer any day to a pressure gauge, which leads me nicely to shot timer. The Signature does have a shot timer, which the Barista Express doesn't, and for me, a shot timer is way more useful than a pressure gauge. In an ideal world, both would be nice, but if I had to pick one, I'd pick a timer. 3-way solenoid valve. The Barista Express has a 3-way solenoid valve, and usually this would mean that the water is able to enter the basket more gently than if it had a spring valve instead. But the way pre-infusion is handled on both machines means that the solenoid isn't really required for that anyway. So the only real benefit of having a 3-way valve with the Barista Express is it'll do a better job of removing the pressure and moisture from the puck. I don't think the Signature has a 3-way valve. It doesn't behave like it does anyway, and there's nothing in the blurb to state that it does. Overpressure valve. If you're dialing in using standard baskets, and remember the Signature only comes with standard baskets, an overpressure valve helps. This just means that at whatever pressure the valve is set to, excess pressure is then fired off via the valve. This doesn't mean that the valve controls the pressure in the basket. It's the coffee in the basket that determines the pressure, but having an OPV set to 9 bars is helpful. As far as I'm aware, neither of these machines have a 9-bar OPV. I may be wrong, I need to get an update from Sage on this, as I've heard from a couple of people who've bought the Barista Express recently that they appear to now have a 9-bar OPV. And in the past, they've been set higher. Whenever I've tested them, they've been about 13 or 14 bars. I can't tell you what the crack is with the Signature as it isn't a pressure gauge, and the splitter won't come off the portafilter, so I can't apply the pressure gauge, as I usually would, to a machine without a pressure gauge. Build quality. For me, the Signature is just a bit more style over substance versus the Barista Express. It looks great from a distance, but using it, the Barista Express is just more solid to me. The portafilter quality of the Signature I'm not a big fan of. It's just a bit plasticky and lightweight, and the splitter won't come off as I'd expect it to, which was a pain as I couldn't use the pressure meter on it. As I said in the Signature review, this only comes with a 1-year warranty, and I think I'd want a longer warranty than this, so I'd probably have to go with the Currys extended warranty if I was buying this. Which leads me to repairability. Sage Breville does get some stick in this area, understandably, because I don't think the way things work in that regard in the UK at least is quite right. There's just one out-of-warranty support partner who have full access to parts and who have no competition. As a result, outside of warranty, a lot of people opt not to pay the quoted repair fee, no guarantee of repair, and end up replacing instead. But from my understanding, the repair situation is way worse with the Sunbeam Breville machines. With Sage Breville machines, the parts are available, it's just that some of the parts are a bit more of a pain to get hold of than they should be. I do believe they're planning to change that in the future, by the way. Someone who'd watched my video on the Sunbeam Breville Barista Max Plus contacted me the other day to say the group gasket on their machine needed replacing. This is just a silicone rubber seal, a £10 part. You just pull one out and push the other one in. It's a faff, but it's simple. They showed me the ticket with UK Breville support, who told him he'd need to replace the entire machine if he needed the group gasket changing. And they told him he should have contacted them and claimed on the warranty so they could have swapped it out. Now, because he'd removed the group gasket, he'd invalidated his warranty. That is utterly ridiculous, as is the fact that although I found the part number for this guy, they're only available in Australia via Sunbeam, so he's going to have to source one from Australia and ship it over here. So it's not perfect for either of them, but personally I'd be more comfortable with the Barista Express in that regard than the Signature. So what's the verdict? Which is a better machine, the trusty tried and tested Barista Express or the shiny new impressive sounding Signature? Personally, if I was buying a machine now at this kind of price point, knowing what I know about both machines and having used the Signature a bit and the Express a lot, I'd absolutely choose the Barista Express in a heartbeat. But I really like Sage Breville machines, and as you'll know, I've used them a lot. I'm really comfortable with them, and I'll point out their flaws when I find them, but overall, I'm keen on Sage machines. I don't have as much experience with the Sunbeam Breville machines. I use a Barista Max Plus. I thought that was good compared to other options at that price point, but I wouldn't want to use one every day if I could help it. I found it messy and quirky. I used the Breville One Touch, which sells in the States as a Mr. Coffee One Touch, and not my cup of tea. Hey, get up! And this machine, other than the convenience of being able to pull shots and steam milk at the same time, it doesn't do a heck of a lot for me. As I said earlier, if all you're bothered about is speed and convenience, and you want a machine that will pull the shot while the milk is steaming, and all the other stuff I've been saying is just making your eyes glaze over, you might absolutely love the Signature, and you might find it a pain to have to steam the milk and then make the espresso separately with the Barista Express. But if you were thinking about going for the Signature over the Express because you bought into the blurb, which makes it sound like this is capable of better espresso because it has a 58mm portafilter and various other impressive sounding features, in my opinion, from the taste of the shots and from the groove sifting, all of that, even the stuff in the blurb that does actually exist, is of little or no importance unless the grinder quality is up to scratch. So if the advertising for the Signature was simply it'll make a true cappuccino or latte with portafilter espresso faster than most other machines at this price, then absolutely I'd agree with that. And if that's what you're looking for, you've found your perfect machine. When it comes to making milk drinks, the Signature is faster and more convenient. So if you're focusing purely on convenience, the Signature is probably the winner for you. If, on the other hand, you're not only focusing on convenience and you're looking for a machine that's faster and more convenient than the Barista Express and that will produce better espresso and better tasting milk drinks, this is what the blurb would lead you to believe. It makes you seem like it's everything to everyone. But in my opinion, if you're someone who's sliding down the home barista rabbit hole, I think you'll find yourself wanting to upgrade quicker with the Signature than you would with the Barista Express. You'd still want to upgrade the Barista Express at some point on your journey down the rabbit hole. The Barista Express is about the best you'll get, in my opinion, at this price point from an integrated grinder machine, but it's not perfect. But for home barista use, in my opinion, it's the better option, mainly because I believe the burrs are better, the build quality feels better, the portafilter is nicer quality, and you can actually get simple parts like gaskets. Coffee cave comment of the week!
Lane Starling 3776 says, "Bro, you sound like you should be a narrator for Animal Planet."
Funny you should say that.
A barista in the wild. Here we see the lesser spotted barista, native to the plains of the coffee shop, swirling, smiling, smelling.
Thank you very much for watching, and if you think coffee is fit as a butcher's dog and you enjoyed this video, we've got tons of content about how to make better coffee at home to take you from beginner to home barista. We've got reviews and how-tos on the most popular machines. If you like the sound of that, click on my face to subscribe. Tatty Bye!